Boom shakalaka, what is up everybody? Happy May Day. Yes, today is May 1st, 2018, and it's also our favorite website, CoinMarketCap's 5th birthday. Yes, so it's here. Happy May Day. And what's happening in the markets on this spectacular May Day? I think everybody's yelling, May Day, May Day! Because it's kind of a red market for today. If we just look at the 24-hour here, everything's in the red. Over the past hour, things are coming up. And over the past week, we do still have some gainers, pretty much the ones who went up ridiculously. But for today, Bitcoin is down 3.62%, just under $9,000. All right, Ethereum at 652, Ripple at 84 cents. And Bcash down, good for it, 12.93. EOS is coming down. Yeah, you think the price was a little bit exuberant? It was up like 3,000% in the past 6 months. Pretty ridiculous, still in the ICO. But we do have some gainers for today. If we take a look, the biggest gainers today, Bitcoin Private, we'll talk about that later. Verge, we'll talk about that later. Decentraland, we're not talking about that. Basic Attention Token, one of my picks for May. Already starting out a good month. Starting out a good month because I picked that one as one of the top gainers for May. Maybe I knew what I was doing, maybe not. Ontology's up. All right, so we have a whole bunch of ones coming up. What are the big losers today? Populous. That's interesting because Populous just released their beta today. I think people are selling it off now that the beta is available. So Populous just released their beta today. Price goes down. Also, iOS token, Enigma, Ethos, Dragon Chain. Cool. So, oh yeah, forgot to mention, market cap, overall market cap, $410 billion. Still pretty large. 24-hour volume, $28 billion, and Bitcoin dominance still dropping 37.1%. I wonder how low will it go? What'll be the Bitcoin dominance limbo? I wonder what you guys think. You think it'll ever go like to 25%? That would be crazy. But, oh yeah, also, before we get into this, just thank you to everyone subscribing. Thank you to everyone mashing on that like button. You know, I gotta remember to say that stuff to you guys. But taking a look at Bitcoin today, yeah, we see this $9,000 mark. That is a bit of resistance. Now, back in November when it first saw the $9,000 mark, okay, it resisted for maybe like an hour, and then it just blew through it. 9,000 was nothing back then. But right now, I mean, look at all this action on $9,000. I can even extend this a little bit. Look at that. $9,000 is the place of resistance for Bitcoin. Okay? But there's a bit of consolidation happening. You can see this little wedge forming here. Potentially, we'll see some breakout, either up or down. And, you know, when that happens, if it happens up, it could be big up. If it happens down, could go big down. Recently, we thought Bitcoin was going up and up and up, but then it hit the 200-day moving average, this red line right there, and it wasn't going to cross over. You know, this is the first time since 2015 that Bitcoin's been below the 200-day moving average. So, could it be a good time to buy? With all this adoption of Bitcoin? Potentially. Potentially. I think so. So that's what's going on with Bitcoin. Now into the news. First thing, Vitalik sharded. Okay, so sharding is coming. He tweeted today, sharding is coming. And then he showed this little graphic. I guess that's what sharding looks like. But for those of you who want more technical information, and I did read through this a couple times, not that it really helped me understand much more about sharding, but sharding is definitely essential for Ethereum to work in the future. They need to be able to handle more transactions per second. Sharding is the plan to do it. They have a 4-stage plan to do it. Phase 4 being called full Casper, going all full Casper all up on you. Well, basically how it works is the sharding chain is going to be bolted on top of the Ethereum network to begin with. When he goes full Casper, then it'll be integrated into the Ethereum chain. But the shard block times are 10 seconds. There's a proof-of-stake blockchain, beacon chain, proof-of-stake beacon chain. And yeah, you can just read all that stuff if you want to. It's all on the Reddit. It's confusing to me, but, you know, he's a genius. So, other news today, Bitfinex adds Stellar and Verge to the platform because people requested it. Bitfinex is listening to its users. They just recently added Stellar and Verge, which has about $10 billion of market cap. Recently, though, they just added Aeon, Raiden, Request Network, EOS Token, and Loopring. So they're adding a whole bunch more things for people to trade. Did this affect price as well? Verge price definitely pumped up quite a bit today. Stellar was staying a bit stable today. And maybe Verge pumped today because of the Pornhub effect, the delayed Pornhub effect. I mean, many of you didn't know this, but it's actually a scientific effect. The delayed Pornhub effect caused Verge to surge by 24%, potentially. Maybe people are just picking it up because they realize that Verge is making a lot of partnerships. I mean, they had 3 of them announced in the past couple of weeks. And there was Pornhub, or MindGeek. There was potential with Spotify. There's also Token Pay. So Verge has a lot of news out there, and people like news. Definitely. Quantstamp. All right, so last week there was news about the batch overflow bug, where for a few select ERC20 tokens, you could just basically input a very large number, and then you could get unlimited tokens from them. So ByNance had Quantstamp review or audit their site, making sure they have no vulnerabilities there, and that's very cool. So Quantstamp, we know they're working with Ethereum Smart contracts to implement machine learning to make sure that there are no smart contract loopholes, bugs, things like that could lead to the DAO hack, things like that. Well, Quantstamp took a look at Binance. They said, no, you are all safe to go, making Binance the first exchange to be audited. Say they're totally cool to enable ERC20 token trading, withdrawals, exchanges, all those things. And you know, it's just another thing that the fact that Binance does the right thing well ahead of anyone else speaks volumes. Yeah, Binance in the news every day. We should just have a little Binance. Welcome to Binance Corner, all right? This is Binance Corner with your Binance news for today. And Binance. On the other hand, EOS, which has been pumping the past couple days, it does have critical vulnerabilities in the EOS Smart contract system. So, these vulnerabilities that everyone's finding, the batch overflow, and also I think it's the patch overflow, something like that. But the batch overflow exploit can also be implemented on EOS smart contracts. And basically, hackers just set the value of amount variable to 8 vigintillion. And then that passing the outrageously large number through the code causes it to overflow, granting the wallet targeted by hackers an ungodly number of tokens every time. So these hacks, these attacks, the batch overflow exploits, are not actually problems with EOS or Ethereum in themselves. They're problems with the smart contracts. So they're working to kind of patch up those. There are problems with the smart contracts of those particular ERC20 tokens. So the 12 ERC20 tokens that were affected by the batch overflow bug on Ethereum, that wasn't particularly Ethereum's fault. Those were the smart contracts for those cryptocurrencies. But it's the same thing is possible to do on EOS. So, yeah. And I just thought this is interesting down here. So EOS's market cap has reached an incredible high of $18.6 billion this month, up from $4.5 billion at the start of April, an increase of over 400%. That's almost as high as the peak valuation of Elon Musk's SpaceX, which has been valued as much as $23.7 billion this year. Damn, EOS. And all for an idea, not even, it's an ICO, an idea that is as valuable as SpaceX, which shot a car up into space. Now, you guys have been asking a lot about Bitcoin Private. Apparently, news is Bitcoin Private is arriving on HitBTC, a big exchange, apparently shown here. I haven't actually seen it on HitBTC yet, but this is the big news for today, causing a definitely big price jump for HitBTC. All right. And Bitcoin Private Network, yeah. Now, let's see. Last week I did a review of U-Network. Today, alpha testing for the U-Network. So they've invited a whole bunch of interesting people there, including Jun Lee from Ontology, founder Larry from Gennaro Network, and the VeChain founder Yang Lee. So a lot of people are getting involved in this alpha for U-Network. That's a big one. Social network, kind of going to be like Steemit, except You actually have to pay to upvote posts, so they can't just have upvote bots. Other signs of adoption, we have Lisk. You can pay for taxi services in Puerto Rico with Lisk. So Puerto Rico is the place to be if you have Lisk because you're not getting taxed on it. And also you can pay for taxi services, either Bitcoin, Bcash, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Lisk. Very cool. Other signs of adoption, Kentucky Derby Punters see cryptocurrency as a good bet. Specifically, first because they have rather large bets. So there was over $100 million placed in bets last year at the Kentucky Derby. But they see cryptocurrencies and smart contracts great because it would mean the gamers whose bet has come off would be certain of their reward, not being held at the mercy of dishonest bookies. They have dishonest bookies in Kentucky Derby. Cryptocurrencies could help that if you get your bets done on smart contracts because that eliminates people, helps deal trust. IBM also touting the benefits of the blockchain. They're saying blockchain will do for transactions what the internet did for information, which is make it free. And yeah, so maybe they'll make transactions free. I don't think they're going to do that. But IBM's talking about their Watson IoT and how they're going to integrate it with the blockchain. Basically, the IBM team has incorporated its Watson IoT platform with the blockchain, which will allow IoT devices to send data to private ledgers to include in shared transactions and tamper-resistant records. And I was really just doing that to show you this dog's face right there, because that's a cute face, you know? That's a face any mother would love, right? More adoption. This is big news adoption. Morgan Stanley is racing to lead the Wall Street pack into crypto. They are calling it the next arms race. Okay, so apparently we're racing to the moon here to beat the Russians, even though, you know, it's a Russian who kind of is beating all of us in terms of cryptocurrency. But back to this. Truth be told, this is the next arms race. Everyone is rushing into cryptos. Everyone. There isn't a bank, a fund, a fund company, a former legend attempting to reclaim old glory, private equity, venture capital, lending exchanges, consulting firms. Everybody. It's the digital gold rush. And our firm wants to get there and pull as many levers as we can. Welcome to the digital gold rush. Yeah, so they're trying to get ahead of everybody else, including NASDAQ, Goldman Sachs, Barclays, whole bunch of different people. So they want to get in there first. And there is the first mover advantage. So how I see this, think of all those people that are trading using Morgan Stanley when they're going to put their money into cryptocurrencies. Guess who that flows down to? All of us. It's the biggest pyramid scheme ever. But it's not a pyramid scheme. Because it's actually useful. You know. Lastly, last news. So ICOs set a record by raising $3.3 billion in first quarter alone. All right. So 400 ICOs in the first quarter. As you can see here, this is a nice graph showing the total US dollars raised in ICOs. It topped out in January, has come down quite a bit since then, due a lot to regulation coming in. Also, total number of ICOs completed. The top was in December and then coming down from there. But we do have some big ICOs coming, you know? So, yeah, that's big. ICOs have been big. You can see definitely ICO bubble right there. Maybe it'll be coming down, or maybe we'll see it rising back up again with a lot of platforms enabling ICOs to be held on there. So, I realize there's problems with lagging. I thought I fixed that yesterday, but apparently not. Anyways, trying something new for the live stream tonight. We are going to do live stream at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's an early late night live stream. 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time today instead of a daily episode at 5. So if you want to be part of that, be there. We'll talk. I'll answer all your questions, see whatever's going on, and then I'll catch you guys later. All right. Peace out.